Oh, train whistle.
That's awesome. That's a good way to call people in for breakfast too, if they're out there, huh?
It's time to eat.
There's a Norfolk and Southern coming through. Love the view of the river and the trains at night from the front window here of the Riverside Bed and Breakfast. Of the beautiful Beaver River. We are here visiting some family over the holiday. Stay over here at the Riverside. And we've been here several times. It's a cool spot. The rooms are beautiful. The breakfast is awesome. And it's just a great location. We are also in for a treat today. Russ Proprietor has an awesome collection of toasters that we're going to show you right now. So without further ado.
Here we've collected toasters for 40 years now, and this toaster was gifted to my wife a couple years after we got married. And it happens to be her grandmother's toaster that she remembers her grandmother making toast on it when she was a kid. And this is a swing arm toaster. And I'll leave that little pattern on the bread right there. And all these toasters are all different brands, but they have similar electrical connections. So there's two prongs here, and you plug that in, and they're all kind of universal in that way.
So that's how you got into the toaster business, huh? Was with that first? Is that the first one?
Yeah, actually it is. And then next thing you know, we started going to antique shops and garage sales and picking them up here for $5 and $10 a piece.
Did you ever repair any of them or anything
They all
like
work.
that? Oh, they all work. Okay.
They all work. You can plug them in.
Okay.
Watch
So you
them,
didn't have to
watch them
replace the
melt.
nichrome or anything on it?
No. This one here is a flopper. This happens to be my grandmother's toaster, and I didn't know we had this in the family. And my dad, he passed away last year. He was almost 100 years old, and we were taking care of him, and still had his house up here on the hill. And so we were cleaning out the estate, and the next thing you know, I'm reaching up in the closet, and there's a bag up there. I'm like, boy, this thing feels like a toaster, you know. I pull it down, I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah! And, it's in great shape. It's an Art Deco toaster, and this is a flopper.
That is really cool.
And when you drop this down, these little curved pieces here will flip that bread, so you don't have to touch the bread, and you can put it back in place. These have flat tops on them, so you can keep your bread warm, if you're making extra
That's
pieces.
neat.
Wow.
I'd be finding reasons to have toast every morning for breakfast. And have like a different toaster every day here. That's really cool.
This guy here is a star toaster. You have little stars in it. It's another swing arm toaster. But this one's got a spring.
Oh, nice.
Spring loaded.
This goes right back in.
And then it can spin around. And that'll leave that neat little pattern on the bread too. Yep. It's got little spring coil heating elements. And this one plugs in the front.
Okay. It's kind of cool how they came up with all kinds of different solutions to toast bread.
Everybody's kind of had their own fun little thing,
Yeah.
This one here, when you plug it in, it doesn't glow, but it gets extremely hot. Okay, and it probably had either wooden handles or Bakelite handles, and they melted off from the heat. That one plugs in the front.
I did it on people's toast.
There's a Art Deco one.
Oh,
with,
that's neat.
Wooden handles. Another flopper. And yeah, some have springs, some have wires. That's nickel cadmium metal is what the wires are made out of. Just got this one at an antique shop a couple months ago in Ambridge. Another flopper, but you grab the handle and you can do that with it. We got this for like $20, which was a really good forced toast flopper with Bakelite handles, and this is fancy because it's got the crumb tray in it. So fancier home would have this particular model. Here's my bird toaster, another spring-loaded one. You got to press this down.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And this one, if you broke your arm and you're by yourself, you're like, Yeah, you drop it into your mouth or something.
Oh, yeah.
This cord.
Oh, you got that one.
Plug-in type. This had a solid cord. I don't know if this was a restaurant commercial or what, but this is another swing arm, but
There's 4 pieces at one time.
all 4 at once.
Oh, then it flops to do the other side. Look at that. That's really cool.
And of course, these are the original toasters. You still get these today for campgrounds, but they put these on top of a wood burning stove and made the toast originally before.
They're kind of little. You don't have to.
Well, back then the slices of bread were a lot smaller. That's why 4 slices would fit in that. They didn't start commercially cutting bread, sliced bread, till 1925. The Keystone Bakery down here didn't start till like 1933. So, started with our first electric one that came out. This guy's a 1909 General Electric. Still making General Electric toasters today, I believe.
That's amazing.
This cost $15 in 1909, which would be $600 today. The people that had them were the Carnegies, the Mellons, the Fricks. This house didn't have electric till probably the 20s, so the receptacles were added probably later when electric came into town. It's got a little rack on it to keep your bread warm. Some of them had little fancy little designs here on the ceramics, for the fancy houses. The signs and so.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So leave little lines on the bread. In the 30s, they started coming out with pop-up toasters, which is pretty much the same thing we got today. Run the new toaster that they got, and 1943, when the men were coming home from the war, and that these toasters were like $23.24, and that's how they became wedding gifts. Of giving wedding gifts for toasters, having been. The one Marty's waiting for. The fun one.
Oh, the one that's got the action.
It's got all the action. So this is a Toast-O-Lator, is the name brand of it. They made them from 1936 to 1952. And you put your bread in the side here, and little track going to take off with it.
It's just so cool that they figured all this out.
Right. Then you got a sight glass on each side to see how well each side's doing. I don't know why. If one side goes bad, you're going to...
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just gonna
Maybe,
smoke.
Yeah, I can see you through it or something. I got this toaster. It's not the plug-in type. It had a bad cord on it. It was all broken up, and I'm like, I'm not even trying to plug it in. So we found a guy that he rewired all our lamps in the house and the chandelier and put new sockets and stuff like that in there. And his name is Mr. Mike-ish. And he owns the Ambridge appliance store. Dad owned it, his grandfather owned it since the 1800s. And he sits in the front of the store and tinkers with lights all day long with his buddies. It's like a barber shop in there. It's like, so I said, hey, can you fix this thing up? And tore it apart, and he said it was all gummed up with jams and butter.
Oh wow. Oh, that looks like that's good looking toast.
They did a study on this ramp to see how well the toast would land on the plate, and it only landed 20% of the time.
It's really even. Look at that. You don't even get the lines or anything on it.
Yes, and you can adjust the speed with how light or dark you want it with this switch. My last toaster I'm going to show you is the one that doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Look at that.
So this one is the Sweetheart toaster. When we first saw these in the flea markets and antique shops, they were going for 40 years ago, like $25, and we're paying $5 and $10. So we started checking on these recently, and one went for $1,250. And
wow.
Why they're so expensive is they only made these 1 year, 1929, the stock market crash, and this is made out of silver. Honey, melt the toast, okay? Okay. So they became hard to find. We got this one for a bargain of $325. When you put your bread in here, you press this button for this side, and that pops out. You put your bread in, then it slaps back down. Then it gets done enough, you flip it back. And I haven't done anything with it yet.
Really?
It hasn't tarnished out any. And Mr. Mike-ish walked out of the back of the shop, and he had one of these in his hands. He says, you know what that is? And I'm like, well, yeah, I actually seen one recently, because when I cleaned out my dad's estate, he had one, and he's not alive to ask him, what is this? It obviously screws into a light socket. Anybody have an idea what it is? The traveling salesman back in the 30s during the Depression stayed at these cheap hotels, didn't have any heat. Okay, so they just unscrew the light bulb by the bed side and screw this in and heat up the room. Kathy wouldn't let me, turn this on here. Do not burn the bed and breakfast down. Do it over at your house. This doesn't glow orange. It just radiates heat.
Well, that's a great and amazing collection.
Well, thanks for the demo. That was really cool.
So that's what we got for today on this edition of Yinzer Fishing. We're here at the Riverside Bed and Breakfast here in Beaver, Pennsylvania. Hopefully you like the toaster demonstration. Pretty unique collection of toasters from at least 100 years ago or so. Anyhow, if you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.